That's what that bill had done. And of course, it didn't go well, and it collapsed. So when it collapsed, another bill followed it or came, that is the Marriage and Divorce Bill, 2009. Now, the first one was supposed to be a comprehensive law that included everyone. The Domestic Relations Bill included everyone, included Muslims, included traditional marriage. Literally everyone was supposed to be in it. But one of the things that broke it down are not only the cut and paste idea of it, but also it affected the Muslims. And if you remember a time when Muslim women went on the streets and rioted and said, let the men marry us and all that kind of stuff. That was from the Domestic Relations Bill. And so it collapsed, and that's when the Marriage and Divorce Bill came up in 2009. And that bill, what it did was it excluded Muslims. So it bundled Christians and everybody else, the civil marriage, the traditional, Hindu, all the others in one bill, and only left the Muslims out. Now that bill went on until it collapsed in 2013. Now, what made it collapse was the response from the body of Christ, from the church, regarding that bill. And I've put up there the entities that signed the document that was sent to the Speaker of Parliament. As you can see, the first entity there was UJCC, which is composed of Church of Uganda, the Catholic Church, and the Orthodox Church. Then the Evangelical Fellowship of Uganda, our own EFU, whose members are listed there, as you can see. PAG, Assemblies of God, Full Gospel Churches, Deliverance Churches, Baptist Union, Community Churches, Calvary Chapel Churches, Elim Churches at that time, then True Worship Churches. Not only that, number 3 there, you can see the Seventh-day Adventist churches also joined. Not only that, number 4, National Fellowship Born-Again Pentecostal churches also joined. Not only that, number 5, you can see the Born-Again Faith. That time, that's what it was, back faith. All these entities signed that letter, and their grievances were 5. Number 1, the title, you're not happy. But why do you say marriage and divorce? It is like you are married and then you're divorcing. So the title was an issue. Secondly, that bill sought to legalize cohabitation. Okay. Now, of course, in so doing, it was felt that to destabilize the marriage institution and would cheapen the marriage institution. Thirdly, and very, very important, the absence of comprehensive provision governing Muslim marriage and the proposal for a separate law for Muslims, which was inconsistent with the objective of the bill, which wanted to consolidate and all legislation so that everybody is in one law. So the churches felt that why are Muslims left out? Why can't we all be under one law, so that under one law it is clear who is what is what, because leaving the Muslims out means now that we have 2 jurisdictions in a country. We have 2 constitutions. And legally, you can't run a nation with the two constitutions. And so this was one very, very serious contention that let everybody be under the law, under one law. And so that was a big thing that the church felt. Number 4, there was apparent contradiction between Article 7 of the Constitution, which provides that Uganda shall not establish a state religion. And yet, Article 129, 1D of the Constitution provides for the establishment of Kadi courts as part of the judiciary, which is one of the arms of government of Uganda. Now, this contradiction needs to be addressed. That article has a serious implication on the stability of the marriage institution and the stability of the country as a whole. Let me explain. Uganda is supposed to be a secular state, and the constitution is not supposed to favor any one religious group. And yet, that article there, 129, 1D, makes a special provision for the Muslims to have a Qadi court, meaning that for you, when you, as a Christian, when you have a problem with your marriage, you run to the courts of law, which is under the Constitution of Uganda. When a Muslim has a problem with their marriage, they run to the Qadi courts, which is a religious thing under one religion. Now, that is a big contradiction in the law. And actually, you know, the legal people say that this leaves a lacuna, you know. Now, dealing with these people have come to learn some legal language, lacuna, meaning something which is very serious to solve. Because suppose somebody converts, a Christian converts into Islam or vice versa, what is going to happen? You see, already you have now a lacuna where there is no law that is handling that. So that's why it was felt this thing should be under one law. So that was a very, very serious matter which should not be overlooked. And finally, the conclusion was that the Marriage and Divorce Bill 2009, in its present form, does not provide sufficient protection to the institution of marriage. It was ordained by God. And if the bill was passed in its current form, it will create conditions that will lead to massive destabilization, weakening, and breaking down of marriages. This is because the bill falls short of recognizing the fact that marriage is, from the perspective of Christians, who constitute 85% of the population of Uganda, a union between a man and a woman to the exclusion of all others until death do them pass. Okay? And marriage is a foundation institution of the family, which is a basic building unit for society and the nation. And so the quality of the citizenry are directly tied to the nature and quality of marriage in the nation. So this matter, therefore, is so important that it should be handled carefully and jealously. So that was the issue that the churches are presented all together, as you can see, the entire body of Christ actually participated in this and gave that very, very serious conclusion. So now, it was against that the parliament, by the way, the parliament was in the middle of passing this bill. They had Honorable Kadaga had already promised women to get this bill as a present on Women's Day in 2013. But the church did what they did. That letter intercepted the bill in the middle of discussion. So what Kadaga did was she sent away the parliament for 2 weeks to go and consult their constituencies. And it was after that consultation, actually during that time, those 2 weeks, the country was on fire. And that's why His Excellency is was very, uncomfortable with that thing, because so any times people are bringing the money, they say, hey, that thing which nearly caused the civil war, because people were against the bill. People against the bill. Women in the village would say, you people in Kabul, is that what we sent you to go and talk in the parliament? If our husbands divorce us or whatever, are you the one who's going to marry us? We don't want this, because they felt these are things which women who are in the city are the ones who are bringing this thing on us. For us, we don't want this. So that's what happened. So now, what was the conclusion? So in light of the above concerns, the church felt strongly that Parliament should not enact this thing into law, because it does not reflect the aspirations of the Christian community in Uganda. And if passed into law, it would not provide the legal framework that will help Ugandans to build stable, progressive, and transformational nation for future generations. So that was the issue. Then, sorry, I went the wrong way. Sorry about that. I punched the wrong button. Yeah. So the other point that the church said was that we as Christian leaders and responsible are duty bound to play our prophetic role of being the conscience of society, by pointing out things that do not augur well for the future, so that your actions and decisions will take our nation the path of peace and so on. So in other words, the church felt that they had to play their prophetic role to warn the nation when it is going the wrong way. And this is given to us in Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 18. God gives the church, or us really, Christians, if we don't warn the sinner and God judges the sinner, then their blood will be on our hands. So at that time, the church felt that this thing is so dangerous for society. If we keep quiet, we are not doing the nation. So that's that bullet. Then that for the next bullet, as the Bible says, while we acknowledge the challenges and brokenness of marriages and the families face today in the country, we do believe that these challenges can be addressed in a restorative manner. We trust that appropriate ways can be found to address the numerous complicated situations as well. Okay? So the church will say, yeah, we know that challenges are there, but things can be done. And then finally, the church ended up with this, that we would like to end by reiterating our offer to be part of the solution in the common quest for establishing a good marriage law in Uganda. We are willing to dialogue with the government and other stakeholders, including Parliament, so that a suitable marriage law can be enacted. So this is what happened in the past. And I thought that before we just tackle today, you need to know the history. Where do we come from? We've not just, this is not just something that has come up now. This is something that has already been here before, and it is a big battle. All right, so now with that, we come to the present one. Now, the present one has many issues, and remember I told you that it was hush, 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 hush. And I can just give you, before I explain the things about it, I can just give you my reading of their action. The fact that they did hush, 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 hush. And then number two, another strategy they did. This time they decided to bring it by a private member's bill. The one in the past was brought by government. But now, this time, it was brought by a private member's bill. Now, for those who are doing law or whatever, no, not who are doing law, but strategically, it is easier to sustain a bill using private members' bill as opposed to government. Because if the government, either pressure, political pressure, or international pressure, can make a government really grow, or people pressure. But a private member's bill, if somebody is really bent, it is harder. So that was one strategy that they've done. Secondly, the reason why it was hush, 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 nobody knows until they brought it, is to prevent this bill from being thrown out on the first reading. Normally, if a bill is really outrageous, then the day it appears on Parliament, people can just say, that thing, throw it out. And it can be thrown, and it will be dead on arrival. It will not go any further. So, but to avoid that, and to make sure that the bill enters the parliamentary system, then you have to be hush, 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 and then you just come and ambush the parliament, and maybe you have your people who support it, a few, others are not so much aware, what have you. But so those who are aware say, yeah, we go ahead, and then to send to the committee. And that's what happened on this bill. So quiet, then ambush at once. It came. And those who supported it, we want. And then it was now sent. And this time, something very, very strange happened. Instead of sending the bill to one committee, it was sent to two committees. It was sent to the Legal and Parliamentary Committee, as well as the Gender and the Labor and Social Development Committee. Okay, so two committees are handling this matter. Very, very unique indeed. I've never seen a bill like this. Usually it goes to one committee, but now they made it go to two committees. All right, what are the issues? Just put there are 6. Number 1, civil marriage can be polygamous. Up to now, any civil marriage has been known as monogamous, but now civil is polygamous. And civil, you all you need is just 2 witnesses. It means that you, your partner, and the 2 witnesses can go and get your marriage done. Now, at the moment, it has been, that's it. You cannot marry again. But now, it means you can do that. Then, after a month, you feel now, this woman, I think I'm a bit tired. Then, you get the other 2 friends and you take another woman there, you will be married. You will be married. So that's number one. Number three there, bullet two. You can convert a monogamous marriage into a polygamous one, and vice versa. Any marriage which is monogamous can be turned into polygamous, and any marriage which is polygamous can also be turned into monogamous. In other words, the whole thing is fluid, and this is what it means for Christians. You marry in the church, continue. One day the man feels, I'm tired of this woman. So the man can go and get another woman and marry her. And the first woman can do nothing. You can't accuse because it is illegal. It is illegal for a man to get another woman, even if this was a Christian marriage. So that is bullet number two. That is what this law says. Bullet number three. When a man has a child outside of marriage, it will be presumed that that was marriage. A man has a wife and a family and so on. Then he has an infidelity situation and a child comes out of it. This law says the minute a child comes out of that, it will automatically presume that that was a marriage. So now that man has another wife. So in terms of property, in terms of child care and all that, that woman is also now into the picture. Now, you can see this is a very, very, very serious situation. Very, very serious. Because already the present laws cater for a child who has been had outside of marriage. Already the present law caters for that. But now, this new law will come and not only go beyond and now will presuppose a marriage. So that now, that woman, the man had a child with outside of it, is now also married him. So you can just see the mixture of that situation. Just see the category that is there. Number four, divorce from another jurisdiction should be recognized in Uganda. You can marry here in Uganda, and you see that it is very hard to get a divorce here. So you go to London, where divorce is easy. Then you divorce your spouse from London. So this law here is saying that any divorce that is done outside in a jurisdiction other than Uganda here should be recognized. So if I go and divorce my wife from London, where divorce is easy, then automatically Uganda should accept it and obey and recognize. Number five, irretrievable breakdown of marriage can be a cause of divorce. This is what they call no-fault divorce. This was something that was first brought about in the Western world at the time of the sex revolution. When the sex revolution hit the Western world in the 60s, one of the things they decided that they should make divorce very easy. And I'm sure most of you here are aware of the Alice Bailey's 10-point program, which one of the points was to make divorce very easy. And that's what exactly that bullet number five is. Where you wake up one morning and say, this woman here, I don't want her. I want another one. Oh, I'm tired of. Then they just say, this is irretrievable cause, irretrievable breakdown of marriage. Now, course, any marriage can be worked on, any marriage can be fixed. No marriage is beyond retrieving, no matter what the circumstances are. But now this one, you don't have to have a valid reason. You just feel like, I'm tired of this one. Now you're supposed to be granted divorce. Then the final one there, which is really interesting, is that the minister can determine any other kind of marriage at his discretion. In others, the minister can wake up one morning and say, I think two men and two women can be, or two men and three women can be a marriage. Or a man and a man, a man and a woman can actually, be married. That is there in this present bill. So you can see in a nutshell what this bill is going to do to families, to to marriages, and to our society. This is really causing marriage to be just like a laughing stock, really. And the marriage is just like a taxi. You take a taxi, mass out, you get out. You enter in here and then you get out at will, at any whim, as you want. That's as far as this marriage is concerned. Then let me go quickly to the number 2, the Sexual Offences Bill. Then, now, as you can imagine, Sexual Offences Bill is also very much connected to marriage, family, and morality. Now, these people, this by this is not the first Sexual Offences Bill. This is the second one. There's one that started earlier. I'm sorry I didn't give you the slide for it. But it didn't pass that time. And usually, in this Sexual Offences Bill, what they're after is really to come against or to challenge our anti-homosexuality bill. And so here, the purpose for bringing this law is they say, sexual offenses are in different places. So let's put them all in one bill. So rather than, for homosexuality, you go to, for defilement, you go to another, like all that. They say, instead of that, let's make one. That is the reason. But now, in this one, which they've made, which they've amalgamated, homosexuality is conveniently not there. You see? So because when this one comes in, it means all the other sexual offenses will be null and void. So you can see they are trying to actually remove the anti-homosexuality from the country's laws by technicality, where you pass this new one, pass. Automatically, the anti-homosexuality is removed. So that's one thing. Secondly, it makes that only the DPP is the one who can stop a case. Now, sometimes a case can come when, maybe when facts come, they show otherwise. Now, this law makes it that only the DPP can stop a case and so on, which the lawyers are seeing is not really fair, and it is not proper for the nation. And then also, potentially, it can be potentially abused, okay? Can be really used for political purposes. When too much power is given to one person, and there's no checks and balances, that is very, very dangerous. Can be used by opponents, can be weaponized, Yeah. So now, in a nutshell, we don't really need this law. The present laws are good enough especially as we had included the anti-homosexuality bill last year, they are good enough. We don't need anything else. We don't need this sexual bill, but all these are efforts by the pro-homosexual group, by the pro-feminist groups to have their way or to have their agenda activated. One other thing I forgot to put here is that it is a very, very much against men. It's overly against men. Overly against men. This bill. Now there are other things which our team is still working on, but these are ones that we thought could bring to you for today, so that you just get a feel of what is in this bill. All right, so now, the other thing is lowering the sentences for very, very serious sexual offenses. Things which are really, really serious, they kind of dilute them and make them very, very small offenses. This is exactly what was done in the Western world. Exactly in the Western world. Things which were really serious. And that's why you see, for those who are following serious, the US politics and society. For example, you see that during the Biden administration, rapists were walking free of charge. You rape and you're just taken and then you are released with that. All those are the ideologies of the liberal sexuality agenda. And of course, you know that they promoted homosexuality and so on. So this lowering of sentences for very serious sexual offenses is part of the agenda for groups that are pro-homosexual and all that. So that is what is there in this. So before I conclude on the way forward and how we can now move from here, let me first stop here and